is still a slow burn compared to some other like romances nowadays where it's like they met each other.
I think she was at a polygon.
Yeah, that was she wrote that book. I mean, you just wrote the book. Like usually it doesn't come up like that and end up rolling a 10 or a 00 or a 10. You ever get
Little green army bed.
yeah, basically.
Okay, hello. I just got home from like my full day of activities. We had book club and then I went to my friend's house to do some like D&D stuff. We didn't actually end up playing D&D, which is totally fine, but we used like, I think we were there for like almost 3 hours. We like set up our characters, kind of did like an intro of like how this is gonna work, and like did the character profiles and everything. So it was great. It was a good time, had a lot of fun, ate some yummy snacks. Book club was also great. I did leave with, I brought a bunch of books, but then I left with these books. The other books that I ended up like not trading with people, I did. Do you mind? The other books that I didn't trade with people, I just donated to the library out there because I was like, well, I like don't want them. That was the point. It was for me to get rid of them. But I left with 3 books and I'm actually really excited for these books. This one, I just really like the cover and my friend recommended it to me and she said I would like the series. It is Cursed Crowns, which is, oh, the first book is Twin Crowns, so it's by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. I was like both Catherines, but yes, double Catherine names. And this is the second book, but I just really like the cover. And I was like, well, I can probably find the first one on Kindle, so let me just get that. If I like it, then I'll read it. If not, like, I'm sure I can like, you know, trade with one of my friends in the future. I also got this book. It is called Dear Chrysanthemums and it is by Fiona Says Lorraine, I think is how you pronounce it. And it's like super short and my friend said it was basically like composed of several interconnected stories, each taking place in a year ending with the number 6. It's about like the scourge of inhumanity, survival, and past trauma that never leaves with like in women who are living in, I don't know if it's specifically Shanghai, but it's like parts of China. So I thought that would be something that like I'd be interested in. I don't really read much that's not fantasy or romance, so I thought this would be like a good option for me to kind of like venture in that, because I've been wanting to, like, I think it is beneficial to read nonfiction, but I just get bored really easily. So I think this is the perfect book for me to ease into something that's not just like a fun read for me. So I think this will be really thought-provoking and excited to read this. And the last book that I got, I'm actually really excited for, and the book art is phenomenal. This is called Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Novoa. It is a queer retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and like let's just look at the art. Ooh, there's a glare, but like the art is gorgeous. Love it. So this is part of a collection, like not a series specifically because they're all different authors I think who write each books, but it's like a collection of remixed classes is what they're called, and it's like queer retellings of classics, which I think is really cool. And the girl that I got this from said she got it from a like queer bookstore in Salt Lake City, Utah, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. Everyone loves Pride and Prejudice, but yeah, I'm very excited to read this and to get into some of these books, obviously. But I will say what I have been reading today is Apprentice to the Villain, which I know I talked about like a little bit ago, and I kind of didn't read it for a while because I had like a bunch of arcs to read and I got distracted with the naturals. But oh my god, I feel like my hair. But I was listening to it on the way to the coffee shop that I went to, and then I was reading it there, and then I was listening to it after as well as I was driving to like my friend's place and on the way back, and I'm really liking it. I'm on chapter 17 right now, so I think it's really cute. Like it is so charming and sweet. Like, is it like an actual like fantasy? No. But like, did I go into it thinking it was that? Also no. Like, it's cute, it's a grumpy sunshine, like, you know, it's really good so far. I don't know how many chapters there are actually. Okay, there's 82 chapters and I'm on chapter 17, so I do have a good ways to go, but the chapters are really short, so I don't really see it being a problem. And I guess after talking to some of my friends, like they didn't like the audiobook for the first book because the narrator wasn't great, and I didn't listen to the first book on audio, so I never really had that issue. Sorry, my dog is like being weird. But I didn't listen to the first book on audio, so I feel like I didn't really have that issue. The second book I started listening to on Libby, and like I have no problem with the narrator, and I showed it to my friends and they said like they think it feels like she got some like constructive feedback about how she was narrating. So I would recommend listening to an audiobook. I think it's pretty great. But now that I'm home, I think I'm just going to like sit and relax, because it's Sunday evening. Like, what else is there for me to do? I'm a little sleepy, but I'm trying not to nap, because if I nap now, I'm not gonna end up sleeping on time. But I'll probably end up reading this, maybe do a little bit of like editing and just relax. Hello, happy Friday. It's currently like 3, almost 4 I think p.m. on Friday, and I got off work a little bit ago, and I have some errands that I'm planning to run today. My friend's birthday, well, it was yesterday, but her birthday like celebration thing is tomorrow night, so I have to go get her a present. But I think I'm just gonna get her, because she, every time I think last year when I asked her what she wanted for her birthday, she was like, just get me a book that you really like and write me a note in it. And so, because she's like a huge book lover too, her personal library actually has like, I think over 1,000 books, so it's like technically considered like a library. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna go either to Barnes & Noble's or Half Price Books to check out the books there and get her some books, and maybe get some for me. I don't know. I'm still technically on my book buying ban, but there's one book that I have been having my eye on for a while, so I'm kind of like, well, if it's there, then maybe I'll get it. If not, like, I don't know. But I have a long weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, which is like super nice. So I actually got off work early, which was really nice, and I've kind of just been like laying around for a little bit. I have been kind of pushing off my TBR for a little bit because I've been really swamped in like reading my Hermione fanfics. I have some good ones that I will talk about later, but I did start The Last Graduate, which is the sequel to A Deadly Education, and I'm still really liking it. I will say, like, because we got a glimpse of like Orion and Elle at the end of like A Deadly Education, I wish I was seeing them like be a little more cutesy, but I'm only like 6 chapters in, so it's fine. I'm sure it'll get there eventually. Besides that, I have been reading a couple of different arcs recently. I will have my Goodreads linked below if you want to read any of those reviews of the arcs that I've read, and I got approved for a couple more, which is nice. Besides that, I have been reading a little bit more of Apprentice to the Villain. I think I'm on chapter 35 or something like that. So I'm like making my way through it. It's not a hard read. It's just like, I feel like my brain has kind of been like jumping from book to book to book all the time this past week, instead of just like sticking with one book. So I've been like reading a little here and reading a little there and whatnot. So it's just taking me a little bit longer to get through it. Not that I think it's bad or anything. I've just been kind of like, my brain has been jumping like all over the place this week, and I've been listening to like podcasts a little bit more this week. So audiobooks have kind of just been like pushed to the back. But besides that, I don't know if I'm going anywhere else besides just the bookstore. We'll see where the afternoon takes me. But tonight I just planned for like a cozy night of gaming, I think, just kind of relaxing. I am having a pretty, not like a super jam-packed weekend, but I have plans tomorrow night. And then I think I have plans Sunday morning, and I have plans like Monday, I think, like the whole day. So it'll be like a really fun weekend, I think, which is nice because it's Labor Day weekend. Although I think it's supposed to rain here, like 50-50 chance of rain, which I don't mind. Like, hey, I love gloomy weather, so like I'm not upset about it. But yeah, so that probably means like I won't go like out to do a lot of things. I'll probably just cozy up at home. But yeah, I will go a little bit further into reading updates once I get back, because my boyfriend's waiting for me. So I'll see you later. This book looks so cute. It has a little black cat on it.
Have you read this one? Where it would be.
Actually, I think men do that in March. Hello, I am back from running my little errands. I didn't go very many places. I just went to Half Price Books. I stopped by 85 Degrees Bakery, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a Taiwanese bread bakery. They have like sweet drinks and other stuff like that, but their like main thing is they have like these sweet breads that have like different fillings, and some of them are sweet and some of them are savory. But I was really craving one because I'm on my period, and I'm like in that like phase where I'm really craving sweets. So I got a matcha chocolate bun and a milk tea mochi bun. Those are like my favorites. If you ever get to go to one, get those two because they're chef's kiss. But at Half Price Books, I did get The Spellshop by Beth Durst. I have been wanting to read this forever, but this is actually going to my friend Renee tomorrow because it's gonna be like her little birthday gift. But I'm like, Renee, I'm gonna need to borrow this at some point. But it just looks so cute. If you see, like, it's very cozy, and like Renee is like, to me, I describe her as like a little fairy because she's like petite and has like ginger hair, and she just like looks like a fairy, to be honest. So I was like, oh my god, I feel like this is like the perfect little like cozy fantasy for you. And I love that. I don't know if you can see it, there's like a little cat with like wings, so I don't know if it's like probably like some mythical creature or whatever, but like I'm very excited for her to read this, and I'm also excited to read this myself. I'm not quite sure if I put this on hold or the Honeywood because I've also been wanting to read those. I think those are both like really cozy, like fantasy vibes, because it's fantasy fall coming up. Basically it's fall already because September 1st is tomorrow, so I will be changing all my decor. I also got some like cutesy little decor things. I actually didn't bring them in here, but I got a garland for my bed frame, like a little like fall leaf one, because I wanted to put that up there. And I got some like little figurines. This one looked like my black cat and it had like a little witch, and then one looked like my dog with a ghost sheet on it, so I got those. And I think I'm gonna go back eventually and get another one and then paint like white spots in it so it looked like my second cat, Yumi. But yeah, so we went to those 3 places, and then I was thinking of going to World Market, but I was like, I have a headache. I've had a headache for a couple of hours, so kind of just want to go home and relax. I did get a few charms and like little beads when I went to Michael's because I want to make Renee a bookmark to kind of go with this like fantasy book, and like she's a fantasy girl. I was trying to find some like Lord of the Rings kind of charms, but I didn't really see anything because that's her favorite series. But I did get this bag off of Depop, which I'm like kind of obsessed with. This is like exactly the fall bag that I was looking for, and it was only like 30 bucks, I think. And I always like decorating my bags with like little bag charms and like little beads and stuff, so I think I'm gonna try and make one of those too. So I'll be doing that for the next couple of hours, or not couple of hours, probably gonna take me an hour. But I'm also gonna like try and make Thai tea and boba at home because I have these like uncooked boba pearls, and I'm like, well, I used to work as like a boba barista is what they call it, and so I know how to like the proportions and everything of how to make like Thai tea and like milk teas and stuff, and I know how to make boba that like actually tastes good because I've tried to make boba at home like before I used to work as a boba barista, and it would always turn out weird. But now I'm like, well, I have the secret recipe, I can make it myself, and it'll be a lot cheaper than going to get a drink every time I want one. So those are my plans. Make a bookmark and make like a bag charm, make like a little fun sweet drink, and then I think just like read, play some cozy games tonight. I was gonna play some games with my boyfriend tonight and then go back to Coral Island because I miss that game so much. I have to take like breaks from it because sometimes it gets a little bit like monotonous for me, although like the game is amazing and wonderful and like there's so much to do. It's just like I think sometimes I get kind of sick of doing the same thing over and over, so I'm like, I need a break, but I'll come back. So those are my plans for tonight. Mini Milo, mini Jinx, and then I have to get a mini Yumi. We'll have to paint like little spots on her. I made this boba. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like, oh god, I just dropped one. But I've made it in like just like a syrup, like a brown sugar syrup, and it only took like 5 minutes. So this is my like at-home boba. I tried like just the boba itself and it was really good, so hopefully it tastes good in the Thai tea. Okay. I don't know if it'll go up the straw. Wait, I got one. Yeah, that's good. Oh my god. Bro, it actually looks like, you know, something I would get from a store. Wow. You know that audio that's like, I just saved myself 150 bucks. That's me.
Double flash on being I don't know what it's like. What percent? If they just fast take A and you're alive, we'll see.
Hello, it is Saturday and I'm about to leave to go to my friend's house to celebrate her birthday. I had like a semi-busy day. I went out this morning to get like some more matcha and I ended up picking up some like fun drinks to have in our fridge. I tried the matcha, it was okay. I think it was my fault that the drink wasn't good because I used honey and I don't really like honey, but I ran out of agave and I forgot to get some even though I was at the store. But it was okay. It wasn't the greatest that I've had, but like it'll do because they keep being out of stock of the one that I actually really like, which is kind of annoying. So I'm like, what the fuck is up with that? But I spent the like early afternoon kind of like making some bag charms and I made a bookmark for my friend that I'm going to see. And so that's her little birthday present. It's that bookmark that I made. But yeah, I'm leaving in like literally a couple of minutes. I just have to like get all my things together. It's a pajama party, so I'm just in like PJs. Although I might change my shirt because I didn't realize that I have a stain there. So I probably should change that. But her birthday gift is gonna be the Spellshop, which I bought yesterday. And I made her a bookmark that has like a little dragon on it. And so I think she'll really like it. It has like colors that I think she'd like. And they kind of go with this book, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe it was like subconsciously I was thinking about that. But yes, so I haven't done too much reading today, to be honest. I've kind of been like busy just like doing like chores and errands here and there, so I haven't been doing much reading. But it's a pretty long drive to her house, so I think I'm gonna continue reading or listening to The Last Graduate, the sequel to A Deadly Education. But I did get approved for another arc that I'm like super excited for. I've been hearing like so many things about it, so I cannot wait to read that. I don't think I've gotten a copy of it yet. I haven't gotten the email, but I got an email saying that like I'm gonna get an email, so I'm like, yay, very excited. But yeah, her birthday party is like a little bit of like a cozy hobby. I think we're frosting slash baking cakes or doing like decorating your own cake thing, so that should be really exciting. I asked for a funfetti because like that's my second favorite besides red velvet, but I always get red velvet, so I'm like, I want to try doing funfetti, you know what I mean? But besides that, I think we're gonna be just like having some girl talk, drinking some wine, and she said like we can bring like a little craft or whatever we want to do. So I'm gonna bring my journal and maybe I'll do some like junk journaling because I don't really have a craft that I'm like currently working on. But she said she has some there too, so I'm like, it'll be fine. If anything, I will just like sit and talk, which is my favorite thing to do. So I'm gonna go head out for that. I will maybe film. I don't know if I'm actually gonna film there, but I will check in later when I'm back. We'll see. Yesterday I didn't end up filming anything after I went to my friend's house because I left my camera here, and it was fine anyways. We were kind of just chatting, catching up, whatever, and like we decorated some little cakes, which was super fun. I'll put like a little picture right here. My cake was kind of like not the cutest, but it was fun doing it, and I was trying to go for that kind of like, I feel like it was like in 2016 that it was a really big like crumb coat wedding cake trend. That's what I was trying to go for because I don't really like frosting, to be honest, so I like very lightly frosted it. Anyways, that was really fun. She has like a huge book collection. I think it's technically considered a library because it has over 1,000 books at this point, which is like that you have like your own personal library. So we were saying like you should make people like little like library cards so that they can come and like check out books, because she lends out books all the time. And I actually got one from her yesterday. I think it's House of Salt and Sorrows question mark, so House of something. It's like a kind of dark fantasy retelling of Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses, which is one of my favorite Barbie movies. So I'm like, wait, I kind of need to read this. And she said it was really good, so I got that from her, and I'll probably end up reading it some point this fall. But today my boyfriend and I went out for our Sunday reading and coffee day, which we do not every Sunday, but like every other Sunday if anything. Sometimes we do it every Sunday. But we went to this place called Ola Cafe. If you're in Dallas, you should definitely go to Ola Cafe because the coffee is chef's kiss, so delicious. I will say it's like very crowded all the time, I think, because they like kind of blew up on social media. And I used to go there a lot when I lived closer, and I would go there like every weekend, and they had a really small storefront. They've expanded, but I'm like, you guys need to have like another store because there's so many people here. But like well deserved, because like the coffee is fantastic. So when we were there, he's reading A Court of Mist and Fury, which is funny because he was listening to the audiobook and they got to one of like the spicy scenes and he goes, I can't listen to this here. How do you read this in public? And I'm like, it's fine. It's not, you're not even at any like particular point. If you've read the book, like it was very early on in Akamath, so like there's more. But what I read was I finally continued The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I'm really liking it so far. The premise of this is France 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. So basically, back in 1714, Adeline, or Addie, she makes a deal with some kind of like spirit thing or god, I guess, where she's like, I don't want to get married, I don't want to belong to anyone, please, like you can have my soul whenever I'm done living my life the way I please. And he was like, okay, but she doesn't realize the consequence of that is she doesn't belong to anyone, as in she doesn't belong to her parents, to her friends, to anyone. She doesn't even really belong to herself, because she can't even say her name anymore at that point. And so like it does like a time jump, I think, between like 1714 and 2014. So you go back and forth every couple of chapters, and you just kind of see how, you know, she goes from being this like young girl in the French countryside to literally having no identity and having to figure out like what to do. The writing style for this book is very beautiful. I love like the way it like evokes emotion. As you're reading, you kind of like really feel for this girl, because you're like, oh, she was just trying to escape marriage, but like now she doesn't even have like her identity anymore. A lot of my friends are reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab, so I don't know which book came out first, but I know this one is apparently very similar, or not similar, but has similar vibes to The Unmaking of June Farrow, which I loved. So I really like the vibes of this so far. I do think it is a really good kind of like end of August, early September book, like end of summer, transitioning to fall. It kind of has those like whimsical vibes, and I really like it so far. So not too far in, I think probably only like 15% into the book, but I'm excited to continue this. I also have been reading a lot of different arcs, which I have on my Goodreads, or I think some of them are on my Bookstagram, which will be linked below. I've just been loving getting arcs recently. It also has helped me like not buy books, because I'm getting new books technically. They're like not released yet, so it's helping me like keep on track with my book buying ban, which is great. Besides that, I have been reading a lot of Hermione fan fiction, which I feel like is weird to say out loud, but I'm kind of just in that phase again. I think it happens every like 6 months or so. Oh my god, my cats are going crazy. It happens like every 6 months or so when I get into the phase where I want to pick it up again, and I've been really liking it. So yeah, that my TBR has kind of been put to the side, although I will say I am reading The Last Graduate right now, which is the sequel to a Deadly Education, and it's really great. It's kind of the same vibes, like obviously it's a sequel, so of course it's the same vibes, except they're seniors now, so there's a lot more like at stake, because they have to go through graduation, which is basically they have to fight their way out of the Scholarman School, which is like the way the school is set up, I guess, is like the seniors live at the bottom where all of the monsters are like right below them, and they have to like fight their way to the top. So it's a lot of like training right now, and I think it's just, I just love the characters for some reason. Like I really did not think I was gonna like be attached to the characters, but I just love Galadriel and Orion. They're like, I'm just like, oh, you guys are so cute. I love the way that she just like yells at him and he's so like, love you. So funny. But yeah, I'm on chapter 10 question mark, I think of that. The chapters are pretty long, so I think I am like a good amount of way through, but I've been listening to it on Audible mostly, so I don't have the physical copy with me. But I think I'm gonna borrow it from my friend, which I'm seeing tomorrow actually. So my plans for the rest of the day are kind of just to chill. It's pretty hot outside. We walked around like a little area with a bunch of stores, looked at a couple little knickknacks, and now I'm like, okay, it was hot and now I want to relax. So gonna be doing some more reading, probably gonna try and journal. I've been seeing like the concept of a dopamine menu everywhere, and I really want to make one for myself in my journal. Gonna edit, I think, and just relax. Maybe we'll go to the pool.